Green Bay Packers wide receiver, signed a 4-year deal for $40 million. Let me start there. How weird is it people know how much you make, Jordy?
It was awkward. I'm a very private guy. I don't say too much, do too much. I keep to myself and my family. And to see that release, even a couple days before, saying supposedly what I was asking for, which was not released by me or my agent. And then when I signed it, to see it go across the bottom of the screen on ESPN, and then still talked about, 2 days later or whatever. It's different, but it's part of it, and I guess it's a good problem to have.
But when you go back home to Kansas, people look at you differently? Not only that you play pro football, but just the money that you make?
Depends on where I go. If I'm back home in our hometown, work on the farm and around my buddies there, no. But if I go into Manhattan, there's still, which is where Kansas State's at, there's still K-State fans, and I don't want to say they look at me different, but they look at me as a professional athlete probably. But people that have known me since I was a kid, they look at me the same, treat me the same, and wouldn't want it any other way.
Are you a real farmer or one of those I have a farm guys?
I don't know. I have a farm guy.
Well, there are people that have money who have a farm, but somebody else does the work on it. Or you can be a farmer who's out there at 7 in the morning till 7 at night.
I would say I'm a real farmer as much as I can be since I live in Green Bay. I grew up on a farm. That was the way our family made a living. My mom stayed at home and raised us, and when we got old enough, we worked on the farm. We did our part, if it was chores or working the ground or helping with wheat harvest or fall harvest, whatever it was. We were out there. We had responsibilities, and it's the same way. I'll go back from the end of mini camp until training camp, and that's a pretty busy time for us. So I'll help my brother do the wheat harvest, run the combine for 10-hour days, and then help put up some hay and kind of get them through the busy time. And then I come back up here, and he finishes it out.
Can you milk a cow?
We do not milk cows. I have milked a cow, but we do not do dairy farming.
Yeah, I've been on a farm, baled hay. Man, that's the toughest day of work I ever had.
Back in the day, it used to be. Now we roll it up in a big round bale.
Yeah.
But like I said, as a kid, we would ride the racks. We do it a little bit. We'll ride a hay rack and put 100 and some bales on it, and we'll do that maybe once or twice a year. Now, just to have enough to tease the cattle when we need to catch them. But we don't square bale as much as we used to. You just put them up in bigger bales now.
How do you think Aaron Rodgers would do on the farm?
Well, I took him back to Kansas with me last year, and he was sneezing and coughing the whole time. So I don't know. He must not get outside very much. Must have a few allergies. And all we were doing was golfing. We weren't even working. So the California came out in him, I guess.
He's Jordy Nelson. Packers joining us, Dan Patrick Show. What's the goal of training camp now for you going into your 7th year?
I would say number one is to get through healthy. Then after that, it's just continue to work on the little things. If it's, for me, it's releases off of the line, slowly changing how I run certain routes, because now as you get older and been in the league longer, there's more film on you out there. Guys are starting to learn how you do things, so you got to kind of change it up and give them a different way of running routes or a different technique to get off the line, and just continue to move forward and develop and fine-tune, I guess, is the main thing. Fine-tune what you have and make sure you're ready to go week one.
Give me the current or former wide receiver that you've borrowed routes from.
The one, growing up, I never was a receiver. I only started playing receiver my last 3 years at K-State, so I never zoned in on receivers. But when I got here to Green Bay, I think the one guy who helped me the most was probably Greg Jennings. He's a very smart guy, very smooth in his route. He's a guy who changes it up a lot when he runs routes, so I watched him a lot. But James and Donald, a lot of the guys, the older guys that we had here, did a great job. And that's something we feel is what we need to do in our room, is pass down that knowledge that has been passed down to us. For me and Randall to pass it on down to help speed up the learning curve for our young guys and get them on the field as soon as possible.
If you were going to describe the turf at Lambeau in December for somebody who had never been on it, how would you describe it?
Not frozen anymore. Our field is heated underneath, so it is actually soft. Year to year, it varies on if it's going to be in December good or if it's going to be brown and pretty much mud. So last year, I don't think it was that much grass out there, a lot of dirt, just based on how hard it froze and got to the grass. But it is a very good, even that way, it's still a good track to run routes and be able to play your full speed on. Some fields you can get to where you really struggle with your footing and everything. But at Lambeau, the way it's still able to hold together with the artificial turf sewn into it, it's still a good track, even though there might not be as much grass on it.
Wait, so the frozen tundra is now the heated tundra?
Absolutely. The myth is over.
Wow.
Now we just got to get him to put a dome on top of the stadium, and we'll be in good shape.
Can Eddie Lacy do a Lambeau leap?
I think so. I think he's done it a couple times.
Oh, he has? Okay.
So, yeah. I mean, he scored a couple times last year, so I think he got up there. Now, I don't know. I can't remember if he sat up on the wall. Some guys just go, like, head first into the crowd and then come back out. Some of us are able to get up there and actually sit on the wall and enjoy the view for a little bit. So I can't remember which way he did it. So I'll have to look into that this preseason and into the season.
Biggest whiff on the Lambeau leap was who?
Oh my goodness. Aaron was really bad a couple years ago. I think it was his right hip got midway up, and he just got his arm over the top of the wall and then just hung there, and then the fans kind of pulled him up. And James Jones had a bad one last year, but I'll give him some leeway because Randall jumped on his back right during his approach to jump on the wall. So Randall jumped on his back to celebrate the touchdown, and then James only had 2 steps to jump. And the wall's kind of deceiving. It's higher than what you think.
What do fans say?
Nothing. They just yell and then don't let you down.
They just scream and then bang you on the helmet and back?
Yeah, and pull you back into the crowd as much as possible because they'll hold on to you. Then you have security down below trying to pull on your feet and grab your hand and pull you down, and so we can obviously kick the extra point and move on. So sometimes it's a battle to get out of there. You almost come to the point where you got to throw some elbows.
You open the season at Seattle. Over under the number of words you would say to Richard Sherman during that game, I'm going to put at 10. Over, under.
Oh, under.
Yeah.
Under.
How about 5 words you would say to Richard Sherman?
During the game?
Yeah.
Under.
Over, under 10 words he'll say to you during the game.
I would assume over, but I don't know. A lot of guys don't say much to me. So I think once I don't reply, their words come down some. So it might become an under, but I would assume an over just based off of his history.
Yeah, but I would think that would frustrate them more that you don't talk.
I think it does, because then I don't know. So because a lot of guys, like I said, don't. I haven't really ran into anyone that really talks that much. But when you don't reply, I think it does get kind of old and frustrating to, I guess, talk to yourself or carry on a conversation with yourself. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. Yeah, so we'll wait and see. But I would assume he'll be over 10. But I'll be under 10, that's for sure.
Hey, congrats on the new deal, and we'll see you in Seattle.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Jordy Nelson, Packers wide receiver.